Hi, Rebecca. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So, can you please just mention about yourself a little bit?
Sure, I'm Rebecca Lerner. I'm the Executive Vice President of Strategy at Mad Network. And I'm excited to be here today with you.
Yeah. So, what brought you into blockchain?
So I've been in the enterprise tech space for many, many years, and I was working at a small company which we had an exit, and one of the investors came to me and said, hey, I'm working on this blockchain project with someone that I think you would really work well with. Love to introduce you and maybe see if you want to do some consulting work. Not sure how much you know about this blockchain thing, which was next to nothing at the time. This was about 2.5 years ago. And he introduced me to my now boss, Adam Helfgott, who I just loved working with and really thought the space was super interesting. It's the first time in a while I could say that the technology that we were working on was doing something other than just improving the bottom line of the company that we were selling it to. So I was pretty excited to learn about it.
What's MAD?
MAD is the first protocol for digital advertising with privacy by design, based in blockchain, obviously.
Okay. So what problem mainly you are solving?
So there's a lot of problems in programmatic advertising, if you ask anybody, but one of the main problems that we're solving is trust, and we're doing that by putting privacy first. So instead of just trying to audit the system the way a lot of blockchain projects in the media space are doing, what we're doing is actually trying to decentralize the system by replacing the fundamental protocol that that programmatic is built on, called OpenRTB. So we're trying to replace that protocol with something better that allows for true decentralization and therefore true trust.
So can we please explain it for someone doesn't know anything about advertising, ad tech? Like, how can we describe it?
Sure. So ad tech is very, very complicated, and it is set up in a way that it's set up in a way that does not enable real trust because it's completely opaque. And one of the major challenges around that is that because it's opaque, it creates this scenario which is like a prisoner's dilemma. So you may remember from like Econ 101 what a prisoner's dilemma is, but basically what it means is that when there's so much transparency that you can't know what other people are doing, you're incentivized to cheat. And so what's happening right now is that because there's no transparency in the system, people are cheating just to stay alive. And if you don't cheat, you will die.
Oh.
So what we're trying to create is a scenario which disincentivizes that kind of behavior by creating transparency between the business entities, but privacy for the consumer.
Okay. So what's the future of EdTech with blockchain?
What do you mean by that?
Like how your system will change the current system.
Oh, so today all the data sits in the middle,
yeah.
right? In what they call a data management system, right? Okay. And basically when an advertiser wants to target a certain type of consumer, let's say moms who buy green, yeah. Right? They actually go and they buy your data so that yes. They know who you are, and then they pay for you, right? They pay to be able to target you. And they're actually buying and obtaining your data. They know everything about you, literally, where you are, what you buy, what you eat, where you live, all of that stuff, right? If you have kids, if you don't have kids, they know all of that information about you, yes. Actually, specifically you. Yeah. And all of that data is like, they own it then, right? And what we're trying to do actually is instead of having the data live in the middle, we're trying to have the data live at the edges in your own devices. So okay. Instead of when an advertiser then goes and buys your data, what they would do is they would deploy a machine learning model across our blockchain, yes. And pay an agent that lives on your device to run that model. And if you are part of the desired cohort, then that agent would actually work on your behalf to pull in the advertising to you, as opposed to what happens today, which is, but I know who you are, I'll push the advertising to you, right? It says, oh, I know who I am. And I will pull the advertising into me when it's best for me.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about the token also, and how much you raised?
So we raised 25 million.
Okay. And what's your roadmap right now?
So right now we're in the process of releasing our second technical white paper and a bunch of code libraries that we're contributing to the community because we're an entirely open source project.
Yes.
And we're also in the process of greenlighting a couple POCs with some very large agency and brand partners to start testing the software.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.